Admiral Hyun had received his final orders from the Velkari High Command. They were not happy. They were not patient. And they were definitely not amused by his reports about humans offering cookies to invasion forces. "Admiral," came the cold voice of Supreme Commander Zith through the communication system. "You have failed to conquer a primitive planet. You have failed to inspire fear. Your soldiers are attending dinner parties instead of destroying cities. This ends now." Hyun's crystal skin turned dark blue with shame. "Yes, Supreme Commander. You will use the planet cracker weapon on their largest population center. Full power, complete destruction. No more games. No more failures." The planet cracker was the Velkari Empire's ultimate weapon. It could destroy entire continents, split moons in half, and turn planets into asteroid fields. It had never been used on a populated world before, but the High Command was done with Earth's strange behavior. "Target?" Hyun asked, though he already knew the answer. "Tokyo. 12 million humans. Their response to total destruction will teach the rest of the planet the meaning of Velkari power." Hyun looked down at Earth through his ship's windows. Somewhere down there, human children were probably drawing more pictures for his soldiers. Street vendors were probably preparing lunch for his patrols. Radio hosts were probably giving more helpful advice about conquering planets. "Understood. Supreme Commander, beginning charge sequence." The planet cracker required 6 hours to fully charge. During that time, the weapon would gather energy from the ship's massive power cores, building up enough force to crack a planet's crust. On Earth, Dr. Yoon's sensors detected the energy buildup immediately. "Captain Lee?" she called over the radio, her voice urgent. "They're charging something big, much bigger than their demonstration weapons." "How big?" Captain Lee asked from the bridge of the Defiant. "Big enough to destroy Tokyo completely, maybe more." Captain Lee was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "How long do we have?" 6 hours. That's enough time." "Enough time for what?" "To show these aliens what humans do when someone threatens our friends." Captain Lee activated the global emergency communication system. His message went to every government, every military base, every news station on Earth. "This is Captain Lee. The aliens are preparing to attack Tokyo with a planet-killing weapon. We have 6 hours. Begin Operation Last Laugh." Operation Last Laugh had been planned in secret for the past week. It was humanity's final response to alien aggression. But it wasn't what anyone expected. In Tokyo, engineer Seo had been working around the clock with teams from every country on Earth. They had been preparing something unprecedented in human history. Not a weapon, not a shield, not an evacuation, a party. "Are you sure about this?" asked Mayor Tanaka as he watched thousands of workers setting up equipment throughout the city. "Absolutely," Seo replied, checking her tablet. "If the aliens want to destroy Tokyo, we're going to make sure it's the most memorable destruction in galactic history." Within 2 hours, Tokyo had been transformed. Every building was covered with lights. Every street was decorated with banners and streamers. Giant screens were being installed on skyscrapers. Sound systems were being set up in every park and plaza. But this wasn't just happening in Tokyo. Around the world, every city was doing the same thing. New York, London, Paris, Seoul, Sydney, Cairo. Every major population center was preparing for the largest synchronized event in human history. "Ladies and gentlemen," announced news anchor Kim from her studio, "in 4 hours, the aliens will attempt to destroy Tokyo with their ultimate weapon. In response, humanity is throwing the largest farewell party ever organized." On the Velkari command ship, monitoring stations were picking up massive amounts of activity from Earth's surface. But it wasn't military activity. It wasn't evacuation. It was something their computers couldn't identify. "Admiral," Officer Vex reported, "the humans are decorating their cities." "Decorating?" "Yes, sir. They're hanging lights, setting up what appear to be entertainment systems, and gathering in large groups in public spaces. It looks like they're preparing for some kind of celebration." Hyun stared at the reports. "A celebration? We're about to destroy their largest city and they're celebrating?" 3 hours before the weapon would fire, Captain Lee broadcast humanity's final message to the Velkari fleet. But he didn't send it from a military base or government building. He sent it from the middle of Tokyo, where millions of people had gathered for the party. Admiral Hyan, Captain Lee said, standing on a stage in the center of the city. Behind him, the Tokyo skyline sparkled with lights. Music was playing, people were dancing, children were laughing. We've received word that you plan to use your planet cracker weapon on this city. Hyan watched the transmission from his command bridge. He could see the crowds of humans, all of them smiling, all of them clearly aware that they were about to die. We want you to know, Captain Lee continued, that we understand. Conquest is your job. Destroying planets is what you do. We respect that. The human captain paused and gestured to the crowd behind him. But since this is going to be humanity's last few hours, we decided to spend them doing what humans do best. We're having a party, and Admiral Hyan, you're invited. The transmission switched to a wide view of the city. 12 million people were gathered in the streets, on rooftops, in parks and plazas. They were all looking up at the alien ship, in the sky. And then, impossibly, they all started singing. It wasn't a song of war or defiance, it wasn't a funeral dirge or a prayer for salvation. It was, Happy Birthday. Happy birthday to you, sang 12 million voices in unison. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear aliens. Happy birthday to you. The song echoed across the city and was broadcast to every corner of Earth. Soon, people in every other city joined in. Billions of human voices singing the same simple song. What? Hyan whispered, staring at the screen. What are they doing? Captain Lee took the microphone again. We figured that since you've traveled so far to visit us, you probably missed your birthdays while you were traveling through space, so we're throwing you a belated birthday party. The crowd cheered. Fireworks began launching from buildings across the city. Not weapons, but actual fireworks, creating beautiful patterns in the sky. We've prepared gifts, Captain Lee announced. On cue, thousands of humans held up packages, banners, and handmade signs. We have birthday cakes, party games, and enough food to feed your entire fleet. More fireworks exploded overhead. The music got louder. People began dancing in the streets, right below the alien weapon that was preparing to destroy them. All we ask, Captain Lee said, his voice carrying across the celebration, is that if you're going to destroy our city, please wait until after we finish the party. It would be rude to leave before the cake is served. On the alien ship, warning lights were flashing. The planet cracker was at 90% charge. In 30 minutes, it would be ready to fire. But Admiral Hyan couldn't look away from the transmission. 12 million humans were throwing a birthday party for the aliens who were about to kill them. They were singing, dancing, and celebrating their own destruction. Sir? Officer Vex asked quietly. The weapon will be ready soon. Do we fire? Hyan didn't answer. He was watching a group of human children who had climbed onto a rooftop. They were holding a banner that read, "Thank you for visiting Earth. Sorry we couldn't be better hosts." CEO Han of Earth's largest entertainment company took the stage next. Admiral Hyan, Han said, speaking directly to the camera. I know you're just doing your job. Conquest is serious business, but we've been thinking Earth's entertainment industry has been looking for someone with your unique skills. The crowd quieted down to listen. We'd like to offer you and your entire fleet permanent employment, Han continued. Earth produces thousands of movies and TV shows every year. We could really use some experts in space battles, alien technology, and dramatic explosions. He held up an official-looking document. We're prepared to offer full benefits, competitive salaries, and all the planets you can conquer. In our science fiction productions, you'd be the most authentic space warriors in entertainment history. The crowd erupted in cheers. Signs appeared. Throughout the crowd, hire the aliens. Best special effects ever. 5-star space conquerors. Think about it, Han said. Instead of actually destroying planets, you could destroy fake planets and get paid for it. Instead of conquering real civilizations, you could conquer imaginary ones. And at the end of the day, everyone goes home happy. The transmission switched to show contracts being held up by thousands of people throughout the crowd. Legal documents, job offers, and employment agreements, all prepared for the alien invasion force. The pay is excellent, Han added. And Earth has great health care. On the command ship, Admiral Hyun was experiencing something he had never felt before. His crystal skin was shifting through colors that had no names in Velkari language. His 6 eyes were focused on the celebration below, watching millions of humans who were about to die treating their last moments as a gift to their killers. 10 minutes to firing, sir, Officer Vex reported. Admiral Hyun had reached his breaking point. The demonstration attacks had failed completely. Instead of surrendering, the humans had turned his weapons display into entertainment. Children were sending him drawings. Adults were giving his destruction a rating out of 10 stars. This had never happened before. Never. Prepare the landing forces, Hyun ordered his officers. If they won't surrender to our ships, they'll surrender when they see our soldiers on their streets. Officer Vex looked worried. Sir, are you sure? Direct engagement has never been necessary before. These humans are different, Hyun said, staring at the pile of gift packages that had been delivered to his ship. They don't understand fear. Maybe they'll understand when they see our armies. The Velkari had the best soldiers in the galaxy. They were tall, strong, and covered in crystal armor that could stop any weapon. Their technology was hundreds of years ahead of anything humans had. One Velkari soldier was worth 100 human fighters. At least, that's what Hyun believed. Begin landing operations, he commanded. Target major population centers. Seoul, New York, London, Tokyo. Show them our power. An hour later, large transport ships descended from the main fleet. They landed in the middle of busy cities around the world. The ships were impressive. Black metal with glowing blue lines making sounds like distant thunder. The transport doors opened with dramatic hissing sounds. Velkari soldiers marched out in perfect formation. They were 7 feet tall, their crystal armor reflecting the city lights. They carried weapons that glowed with dangerous energy. This was supposed to be the moment when humans finally understood who they were dealing with. This was when the screaming and running would begin. But once again, Earth had other plans. In Seoul, the first Velkari patrol marched down a busy shopping street. People stopped to look at them, but not with fear. They looked curious. A street vendor named Jang rolled his food cart right up to the alien soldiers. Hey, Jang called out in broken English, waving at the lead soldier. You hungry? Long trip from space, yes? I make best Korean barbecue in city. The Velkari soldier stopped and stared down at the small human. In his helmet, warning systems were telling him about potential threats, escape routes, and tactical options. But nothing in his training had prepared him for someone offering him lunch. We are here to conquer, the soldier said in halting human speech. Ah, conquest. Young nodded like this made perfect sense. Very hard work. Need good food for conquest. You like spicy? I make special alien warrior meal. Before the soldier could respond, Yang was already preparing food on his cart. The smell of cooking meat and vegetables filled the air. Other humans gathered around not to fight or run, but to watch the interesting show. First time conquering Earth? Asked an old woman carrying shopping bags. Yes, the soldier replied, completely confused. Oh, you picked good day. Weather is nice, not too crowded. You want directions? I live here 70 years. I know all best places. The soldier looked around at his squad. They were supposed to be striking fear into the population. Instead, they were surrounded by humans offering food, directions, and friendly advice. In New York, another Velkari patrol was having similar problems. Military Commander So had been watching the landings from the UN building, but instead of ordering evacuation or military response, she was coordinating something completely different. Remember, she told her staff over the radio, this is Operation Welcome Wagon. Everyone knows their jobs. As the alien soldiers marched through Times Square, they found themselves walking through what looked like a parade preparation. Humans were hanging colorful banners between buildings. Street performers were setting up stages. Food trucks were arriving from every direction. Excuse me, called out a young woman with a clipboard. Are you the alien soldiers? Great, I'm Park. I'm organizing the Welcome to Earth Festival. Could you march this way, please? The photographers want to get some good shots. The Velkari patrol leader blinked his 6 eyes. Festival? Oh yes. When we heard you were coming down to visit, we threw together a celebration. Nothing fancy, just some music, food, and speeches. The mayor wanted to give you the key to the city. Behind Park, a marching band was warming up. Children with balloons were lining up along the street. News cameras were focusing on the confused alien soldiers. We are not here for festival, the patrol leader said weakly. Of course not, Park replied cheerfully. You're here for conquest, but that doesn't mean we can't be polite about it. Here, let me show you where the stage is. The mayor's speech is at 3 o'clock. In London, artist OK had organized what she called Invasion Art Week. When the Valkyrie soldiers landed, they found that humans had been busy decorating their landing site. Flower arrangements surrounded their ship. Colorful ribbons were tied to their equipment. Someone had painted "Welcome to Earth" in huge bright letters across the side of their transport. Beautiful work, OK said to the confused soldiers as they emerged. The way your ship reflects light is amazing. Mind if I paint it? I'm thinking something with blues and purples to match your armor. You want to paint our military vehicle? Asked the squad leader. Only if you don't mind. I promise I'll use washable paint. Oh, and some children from the local school are coming by later to show you their art projects. They're very excited to meet real aliens. The soldier looked at his transport ship, now covered in flowers and cheerful graffiti. His training had covered urban warfare, hostile populations, and resistance movements. No one had ever mentioned art therapy. In Tokyo, the situation was becoming even more surreal. Communications specialist Jin had hacked into the alien soldiers' radio frequency. As they tried to coordinate their operations, they kept receiving unexpected interruptions. Squad leader Alpha to base, one soldier reported. We have successfully landed and are beginning patrol of the target area. Copy that, Alpha Squad, came the reply from their ship. Report any resistance or... Hello! Jin's voice suddenly broke into their communication. Welcome to Tokyo. This is your friendly neighborhood pirate radio station. We hope you're enjoying your visit to our beautiful city. What? Who is this? The squad leader demanded. I'm Jin, your unofficial tour guide. I noticed you guys are new in town, so I thought I'd give you some helpful tips. The best ramen shop is 3 blocks from your current position. Also, the subway is really efficient if you need to get around quickly. This is a military channel. I know. Isn't technology wonderful? Oh, by the way, there's a really good electronics store nearby if you want to upgrade your communication equipment. They give alien discounts. The soldiers tried switching frequencies, but Jin followed them to every channel, always cheerful, always helpful, always treating their invasion like a tourism opportunity. Back on the command ship, Admiral Hyon was receiving reports from all the landing teams. Each report was more confusing than the last. Sir, Officer Vex said, reading from multiple data pads. Alpha Squad reports they have been offered food and directions. Bravo Squad says the humans have organized a parade in their honor. Charlie, Squad is being asked to judge an art contest. What about resistance? Weapons? Military response? None, sir. The humans appear to be treating our invasion as a cultural exchange program. Hyon's crystal skin was shifting through colors rapidly. A sign of extreme stress among his people. What about our psychological warfare protocols? The humans have turned those against us, sir. Every time we try to intimidate them, they respond with friendship. Our soldiers are starting to feel guilty about conquering people who are giving them gifts. This was the most dangerous thing Hyon had heard yet. Guilty soldiers made poor conquerors. Dr. Yoon was monitoring everything from her laboratory. What she discovered made her call Captain Lee immediately. Captain, we've done it, she said excitedly. Done what? We've created a feedback loop in their command structure. Their soldiers are designed to respond to fear and hostility. But we're giving them curiosity and kindness instead. Their entire psychological training is breaking down. Explain that in simple terms. Imagine you trained your whole life to fight monsters, but when you got to the battlefield, you found friendly puppies instead. That's what's happening to their soldiers. They don't know how to conquer people who are trying to be their friends. Captain Lee smiled. So we're winning a war with hugs and snacks? Exactly, and it's working better than any weapon we could have built. As the day continued, more reports came in from around the world. Valkyrie soldiers were being invited to lunch, asked to pose for photos, and given guided tours of human cities. Some had been invited to visit schools where children showed them science projects about space travel. In Brazil, a patrol had been recruited to help with a local festival. The soldiers didn't know how it happened, but they found themselves carrying parade floats and wearing flower crowns. In Egypt, another squad had been given a guided tour of the pyramids. The tour guide treated them like any other group of tourists, explaining the history and asking if they had any questions. In Australia, Velkhari soldiers had been invited to a barbecue. They sat awkwardly at picnic tables, while humans explained the rules of cricket and offered them beer. The 72-hour deadline had passed. Admiral Hyon stood on his command bridge, looking down at Earth through the large windows. The planet looked peaceful and blue, just like it had 3 days ago. Nothing had changed, except everything had changed. Admiral, Officer Vex approached carefully. The High Command is asking for a status report. They want to know why Earth hasn't surrendered yet. Hyon's 6 eyes closed slowly. How could he explain this to his superiors? How could he tell them that the humans had treated their ultimate conquest demand like a customer service complaint? Tell them we need more time, Hyon said. Sir, with respect, we've never needed more time before. Perhaps we should begin the demonstration attacks? Demonstration attacks, yes. That was the next step in the Velkhari conquest plan. When a planet refused to surrender, they would destroy empty areas to show their power. Mountains, deserts, uninhabited, islands, places where no one would die but everyone would see what the Velkhari could do. It always worked. Always. Begin the demonstrations, Hyon ordered. Target the empty desert areas first. An hour later, the first Velkhari energy weapons fired at Earth. Massive beams of blue light shot down from the ships, hitting remote desert locations. The weapons were incredibly powerful. Each blast created explosions that could be seen from space. Mountains were turned to dust. Sand was turned to glass. The destruction was beautiful and terrible. On Earth, news channels immediately began broadcasting the attacks. People around the world watched as alien weapons destroyed empty pieces of land with incredible force. The explosions were bigger than nuclear bombs, but cleaner, leaving strange patterns of melted rock and crystal. This was the moment when conquered planets usually broke. This was when their leaders called the Velkhari ships, screaming and begging for mercy. But Earth's response was not what Admiral Hyon expected. "Ladies and gentlemen," said news anchor Kim, speaking calmly into the camera, "we're watching live coverage of what appears to be the aliens' fireworks display. As you can see, they've targeted several uninhabited desert areas with what can only be described as spectacular light shows." In the news studio, military expert Moon was sitting next to her, taking notes as he watched the explosions. "These demonstrations are quite impressive," Moon said, adjusting his glasses. "From a technical standpoint, I'd estimate their weapons have about 10 times the power of our strongest explosives. The recharge time between shots appears to be approximately 47 seconds, and the range from their current orbital position is clearly unlimited." Kim nodded. "So you're saying we're getting valuable intelligence from their fireworks show?" "Exactly. Every shot they fire tells us more about their capabilities. It's actually quite helpful of them." On social media, the response was immediate and overwhelming. Videos of the alien attacks were everywhere, but not in the way Hyon had expected. People were rating them. Alien attack number 1. Great visual effects, excellent crater formation, loved the blue color, 8/10 stars. Attack number 2. Good explosion, but the landing was a bit rough. The smoke patterns were nice though. 7/10. Attack number 3. Amazing. The way the sand turned to glass was beautiful. My new screensaver, 10/10. Someone had created a website called Rate the Alien Light Show, where people could score each attack on creativity, visual impact, and artistic merit. Within hours, it had millions of visitors. A teenager named Han was live streaming from a hill near one of the attack sites. He had set up a camping chair and was providing commentary like a sports announcer. Okay, here comes another one," Han said excitedly into his phone camera. "The ship is charging up. You can see the blue glow getting brighter, and boom, Oh, that was a good one. Great form on the energy beam, nice follow-through. The explosion pattern was a solid 8 out of 10, but I'm taking off points because they hit the same area twice. That's just wasteful. His live stream had over 2 million viewers from around the world, all watching the alien attacks like they were entertainment. In Tokyo, street artist OK had gathered a crowd of people with telescopes and cameras. They were watching the alien ship above their city, waiting to see if it would fire. "Do you think they'll hit Mount Fuji?" someone asked. "I hope not," OK replied. "But if they do, I bet it'll look amazing. Someone should ask them to wait until sunset. The lighting would be perfect." The crowd laughed and continued watching the sky like they were waiting for a concert to start. Back on the Valkyrie command ship, reports were coming in from monitoring stations around the fleet. "Admiral," the communications officer said, his voice confused. "The humans are applauding our attacks." "Applauding?" "Yes, sir. They're treating our demonstration of ultimate force like entertainment. They're giving us reviews and ratings. Some are asking us to fire at specific locations because they think it would look pretty." Hyun stared at the reports. This was impossible. Every species in the galaxy feared Valkyrie demonstration attacks. They were designed to show overwhelming power, to make entire planets realize they had no hope of resistance. But these humans were treating them like a free show. "What about their military?" Hyun asked desperately. "Surely their armies are mobilizing now." "Some movement, sir, but not much. Most of their forces remain in normal positions. Their leaders still haven't contacted us to surrender." Instead, Earth's leaders were doing something even more confusing. Secretary General Kang was holding a press conference at the United Nations. The world's media had gathered to hear humanity's official response to the alien attacks. "Thank you all for coming," Kang said, standing behind a podium with microphones from every major news network. "I'd like to make an official statement regarding our visitors' impressive demonstration earlier today." The reporters leaned forward, expecting to hear words of fear or surrender. "On behalf of the people of Earth," Kang continued, "I would like to thank the Valkyrie Empire for their spectacular welcome display. The light show was truly remarkable, and we appreciate the effort they put into making it so visually stunning." A reporter raised her hand. "Sir, are you saying Earth's official response to an alien attack is thank you?" "That's correct," Kang replied with a straight face. "However, we do have one small request. For future demonstrations, we'd like to suggest they consider the environmental impact. While the glass formations in the desert are quite beautiful, we're concerned about the effect on local wildlife. Perhaps they could coordinate with our environmental protection agencies." Another reporter looked confused. "Mr. Secretary General, are you treating this alien invasion like a tourism event that needs better planning?" "Well," Kang said thoughtfully, "they are visitors to our planet. It's only polite to help them make their stay more enjoyable while minimizing any negative impacts." The press conference was broadcast live around the world and, unknown to the humans, directly to the Valkyrie fleet. UN spokesperson Choi took the microphone next. "We've also prepared a small gift for our alien friends," she announced. A group of assistants brought out a large pile of colorfully wrapped packages. "Children from around the world have made welcome gifts for the Valkyrie Empire. We have drawings, handmade crafts, and traditional foods from every continent. We'd like to invite Admiral Hyun and his crew to come down and collect them personally." The packages were loaded onto a small rocket and fired gently toward the Valkyrie command ship, not as a weapon, but as a delivery system. On the alien ship, Hyun watched the approaching rocket with all 6 eyes. His weapons officers were ready to destroy it, thinking it might be an attack. "Wait," Hyun said quietly. "Let it approach." The rocket reached the ship and opened like a flower, releasing hundreds of small packages that floated gently toward the hull. Each one had a note attached. "Dear aliens," read one note that Hyun picked up. "Welcome to Earth. I drew you a picture of your pretty spaceship. I hope you like it. My mom says you might be hungry after traveling so far, so I packed you some cookies. Love, Mina, age 7. Another note said, "Hi, I'm learning about space in school. Your ships are really cool. Can you teach me how they work? I want to be an astronaut when I grow up. Maybe we can explore the galaxy together. Your new friend, Tay, age 10. There were hundreds of them. Children from every country, all writing friendly letters to the aliens who had just demonstrated the power to destroy their world. Dr. Yoon was monitoring alien communications from her secret laboratory. What she discovered made her call Captain Lee immediately. Captain, I've been analyzing their internal communications, she said. The aliens are having a psychological crisis. What do you mean? Their entire conquest strategy is based on fear responses, but we're not giving them fear. We're giving them curiosity, friendship, and constructive criticism. Their computers literally don't know how to process our reactions. So we're winning by being nice? More than that. We're winning by refusing to play their game. Every time they escalate, we respond with something completely unexpected. They attack us, we applaud. They threaten us, we sue them. They try to scare us, we invite them to dinner. 24 hours had passed since the aliens gave their ultimatum. Admiral Hyan expected to receive desperate messages from Earth's leaders by now. He expected them to beg, to offer deals, or to surrender early out of fear. Instead, his communication, officers brought him something he had never seen before. Admiral, said Officer Vex, holding a data pad with shaking hands, the humans have responded to our ultimatum. Good, Hyan said. His 6 eyes focused on the pad. Are they surrendering? Not exactly, sir. The response was written on official United Nations paper. It looked very formal and important, but as Hyan read it, his crystal skin began to change. Color from blue to red, a sign of confusion and anger among his people. The letter said, Dear Admiral Hyan and the Velkari Empire, thank you for your interest in conquering our planet Earth. We appreciate you taking the time to visit our solar system. However, we must inform you that your conquest application is incomplete. We will need the following documents before we can process your request. Proper identification and business license for planetary conquest insurance papers for your spaceships. Our airspace regulations require full coverage. Environmental impact study for your planned resource extraction. References from your last 3 conquered planets. Proof that you have read and agreed to our terms and conditions. Please note that conquest hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Earth Standard Time. We are closed on weekends and holidays. Look forward to hearing from you soon. Sincerely, the people of Earth PS. If you are interested in a peaceful trade agreement instead, please press 2 after the beep. Hyan read the letter 3 times. Each time he became more confused. What is this? He asked. I believe, sir, Vex said carefully. They are treating our conquest like a business transaction that they can reject. On Earth, Captain Lee was laughing so hard he could barely stand up. He was in the command center of humanity's newest spaceship, the Defiant. It wasn't as big or powerful as the alien ships, but it was fast and very hard to detect. Did you see Hyan's face on the transmission? Lee asked Dr. Yoon, who was working at a computer nearby. I thought his head was going to explode. Dr. Yoon looked up from her screen. She was Earth's best expert on alien technology and communication. The color change in his skin suggests extreme confusion. Their species probably can't understand why we're not afraid. Good, said Jin, the ship's communication specialist. He was typing very fast on multiple keyboards. Because I just sent them something even better. Jin had been working all night on a special project. He had figured out how to break into the alien communication system. It wasn't easy, but humans were very good at hacking things that weren't supposed to be hacked. What did you do? Captain, Lee asked. I signed them up for Earth's internet, Jin said with a big smile. All of it. High above Earth, the Velkari ships suddenly started receiving thousands of messages per second. Their communication systems, which were designed for military operations, were now flooded with something they had never experienced before. Spam emails. Admiral, another officer called out. Our systems are being overloaded. We're receiving massive amounts of data from the planet. Hyan rushed to the communications center. The screens were filled with messages scrolling by too fast to read. Lose 50 pounds in 30 days. Aliens love this one trick. Hot single humans in your area want to meet you. Make money from home. Earn $5,000 a week. Conquering planets. Your spaceship. Warranty is about to expire. Congratulations, you've won a free cruise to Mars. The messages kept coming. Thousands and thousands of them. The Velkari computer systems, which had conquered 17 worlds, were now struggling to handle Earth's advertising industry. Turn it off, Hyun shouted. We're trying, sir, the communication officer replied. But every time we block one source, 10 more appear. Back on Earth, things were getting even stranger. In New York, Lawyer Park was in her office with a team of Earth's best legal experts. They were writing the most unusual legal document in human history. Are you sure about this? Asked her assistant. Absolutely, Park said. If they want to conquer us, they have to follow our laws. An hour later, Admiral Hyun received another official document from Earth. This one was even more confusing than the first. It was a lawsuit. The document said that the Velkari Empire was being sued for parking violations, 72 spaceships in no parking zones, noise complaints, their ships were too quiet, which was suspicious, trespassing in Earth's airspace without permission, attempted theft of an entire planet, failure to provide adequate customer service during their conquest attempt. The lawsuit demanded that they pay a fine of $50 trillion or leave Earth's solar system immediately. This is insane, Hyun said, staring at the legal papers. They're suing us for conquering them. But that wasn't the end of it. Radio host Beck was having the time of his life. His morning radio show usually had about 100,000 listeners. Today, he had 2 billion people listening from around the world. And somehow, the aliens were listening too. Good morning, Earth, and welcome to our new alien friends, Beck said into his microphone. This is Invasion Radio, your #1 source for helpful conquest tips. He had been broadcasting for 3 hours, taking calls from people around the world who wanted to give the aliens advice. Our first caller is Min from Seoul. Go ahead, Min. Hi, Beck. I just wanted to tell our alien visitors that if they're planning to conquer Asia, they really should try Korean barbecue first. There's this great place near my house that I think Admiral Hyun would love. That's a great suggestion, Min. And remember, aliens, Korean barbecue is best shared with friends. Conquest is always more fun when everyone gets along. The next caller was from London. Hello. I think the aliens made a mistake with their timing. 72 hours isn't nearly enough time to properly conquer a planet. They should have given us at least a week to get our affairs in order. It's just good manners. Beck nodded seriously. You're absolutely right. Hey, Admiral Hyun, if you're listening, and we know you are, you might want to extend your deadline. We humans are very busy people. On the Velkari command ship, Hyun was indeed listening. He couldn't stop listening. The radio show was like watching a car accident, horrible but impossible to look away from. Our next caller, Beck continued, is actually calling from right under one of the alien ships. Hello, Han. Hi, Beck. Yeah, I'm standing in downtown Tokyo, and I can see the alien ship right above me. It's actually quite beautiful. The lights are really pretty at night. I was wondering if the aliens would mind if we took some pictures. My girlfriend really wants a selfie with their spaceship in the background. I'm sure they wouldn't mind. Han, they seem like reasonable people. Or reasonable aliens. You know what I mean? More callers followed. Someone from Brazil suggested the aliens visit the beaches. A caller from Egypt offered to give them a tour of the pyramids. An old man from Australia said the aliens were welcome to stay at his house if they needed a place to sleep. Every suggestion was friendly. Every caller treated the invasion like a visit from interesting tourists who just happened to have planet-destroying weapons. Dr. Yoon was monitoring alien communications from her lab. What she discovered was very important. Captain Lee, she called over the radio. I've been studying their transmissions. I think I know why they're so confused. Tell me, Lee responded. Every planet they've conquered before followed the same pattern. First, the people got scared, then they panicked. Then they either tried to fight or tried to hide. Finally, they gave up and surrendered. And we're not doing any of that. Exactly. We're doing something their computers can't understand. We're being nice to them. Their whole military strategy depends on fear. But you can't scare people who are offering to show you around town and buy you lunch. Captain Lee smiled. So what you're saying is, we're winning a war by being friendly? That's exactly what I'm saying. As the second day of the invasion ended, Admiral Hyan sat in his command chair, staring at reports from his officers. The humans had sent them 17 more legal documents, 50,000 spam emails, and 12 party invitations. One human city had declared the day Alien Appreciation Day and hung welcome banners on their buildings. A group of school children had drawn pictures of the Velkari ships and mailed them to the nice aliens in the big ships. Hyan looked at one of the drawings. It showed him shaking hands with a small human child. Both figures were smiling. He had conquered 17 worlds. He had destroyed armies and cities. He had made entire species surrender without firing them, shot. But he had never received a drawing from a child before. Sir? Officer Vex asked quietly. What are your orders? Hyan continued staring at the drawing. For the first time in 30 years of conquest, he had no idea what to do next. The humans weren't following the rules of war. They were making up their own rules, and somehow they were winning. The morning started like any other Tuesday on Earth. People were drinking coffee, going to work, and complaining about traffic. Then the sky went dark. Massive ships appeared above every major city on the planet. They were huge, bigger than anything humans had ever built. The ships were black metal with strange blue lights running along their sides. They made no sound as they hung in the air like giant storm clouds. Hyan stood on the command bridge of the largest ship. He was not human. His body was covered in hard, crystal-like skin that sparkled under the ship's lights. He had 4 arms and 6 eyes that could see in all directions. For 30 years he had conquered planets for the Velkari Empire. Earth would be his 18th victory. Begin the transmission, Hyan told his crew. His voice sounded like breaking glass. On Earth, every television, radio, and phone suddenly turned on by itself. The same message played everywhere. People stopped what they were doing and stared at their screens. Hyan's face appeared on every device. His alien features made children hide behind their parents. His 6 eyes looked directly at the camera as he spoke. People of Earth, Hyan said in perfect English, I am Admiral Hyan of the Velkari Empire. Your planet has been chosen for conquest. You have 72 hours to surrender completely. In the United Nations building in New York, Secretary General Kang sat at a large table with world leaders. They all watched the alien message on a huge screen. The room was very quiet. After surrender, Hyan continued, we will take your planet's resources. All humans will be moved to work colonies in other star systems. You will serve the Velkari Empire for the rest of your lives. This is not a request, this is an order. The alien admiral paused and looked straight into the camera. We have conquered 17 other worlds. All of them surrendered when they saw our power. You should do the same. Resistance is useless. You have 72 hours. The transmission ended. Every screen went black. The meeting room stayed quiet for a moment. World leaders looked at each other with worried faces. Some were pale, others were shaking. Then something unexpected happened. Kang started laughing. It wasn't nervous laughter or crazy laughter. It was real amusement, like someone had told him a funny joke. He put his hand over his mouth, but the laughter kept coming. Sir? Asked his aide Wu, who was standing nearby. Are you okay? Did you hear what he said? Kang asked, still smiling. He wants to relocate us, like we're old furniture that doesn't fit in his house anymore. The president of Brazil leaned forward. This is serious, Kang. They have huge ships. They could destroy us. Oh, I know it's serious, Kang replied. But think about it. This guy shows up and basically says, hello, we're here to steal your planet and make you our slaves. Please sign. Here. What kind of customer service is that? Wu looked confused. Customer service, sir? Yes. Where's the presentation? Where are the benefits? At least when companies take over other companies, they pretend it's good for everyone. Kang stood up and walked to the window. He could see one of the alien ships hanging over Manhattan like a dark cloud. 72 hours, he said. That's not even enough time to think about it properly. What if we're busy that weekend? What if we have other plans? The British Prime Minister cleared her throat. Perhaps we should focus on military options or evacuation plans. But Kang wasn't listening. He was looking at his phone. Woo, look at this. His aide came over and looked at the phone screen. Social media was exploding, but it wasn't panic or fear. People were making jokes. Someone had already made a meme of Admiral Hyon with the caption, "When your pizza delivery guy thinks he owns your house." Another showed the alien ships with parking tickets on them. 72-hour parking limit exceeded. There was a video of a teenager in Tokyo standing on his roof, waving at the alien ship above his city. "Hey, aliens!" he shouted. "Do you guys need directions? There's a great ramen place down the street." News reporters were trying to be serious, but some were smiling as they talked. On CNN, the anchor said, "The aliens have given us 3 days to surrender our entire planet. In related news, my lease renewal isn't due for 6 months, so this is really bad timing." In Seoul, people had gathered in the streets to look at the alien ship, but instead of running away in fear, they were taking selfies with it in the background. Street food vendors were selling alien invasion special dishes. Back in the UN building, more world leaders were looking at their phones. The internet was moving fast. Videos, pictures, and jokes about the aliens were spreading everywhere. "Look at this," said the Canadian Prime Minister. She showed her phone to the others. Someone had made a fake website called Rate My Alien Invasion, where people could leave reviews. 2 stars, she read aloud. Poor presentation, no advance. Notice very rude staff. The spaceships are impressive, but they're blocking my satellite TV. Would not recommend. Another review said, 1 star. They didn't even ask nicely. My grandmother has better manners than these so-called conquerors. High above Earth on the command ship, Hyon was reading reports from his officers. They were monitoring human communications, expecting to see panic, fear, and chaos. Instead, they found something their computers couldn't understand. "Admiral," said his second-in-command, a Valkyrie with silver crystal skin named Vex. "The humans are making jokes about us." "Jokes?" Hyon's 6 eyes blinked in confusion. "Explain." Vex showed him a tablet with human internet content. "They're creating pictures of our ships with silly words on them. They're pretending to rate our invasion like it's a restaurant. Some are offering to help us find parking spaces." Hyon stared at the screen. In all his years of conquest, he had never seen anything like this. Usually by now, the planet's leaders would be calling and begging for mercy. They would offer him gold, resources, anything to save their people. But Earth's leaders hadn't called at all. "What about their military?" Hyon asked. "They've moved. Some ships and planes, but not many. Most of their forces are still in normal positions. It's like they're not taking us seriously. This was wrong. This was completely wrong." Hyon had conquered 17 worlds. He knew how conquest worked. First came fear, then panic, then desperate attempts to fight or hide, and finally surrender. But these humans seemed to be skipping all of those steps and going straight to... what? Making fun of him? Back on Earth, Secretary General Kang was still watching the internet explosion. A comedian in London had already written a 10-minute routine about the aliens. A radio DJ in Sydney was taking calls from listeners who wanted to give the aliens advice about better invasion techniques. "Sir," Wu said quietly, "what should we actually do? The military is asking for orders." Kang thought for a moment. He looked around the room at the other world leaders. Some still looked scared, but others were starting to smile as they watched the internet react to their uninvited guests. "You know what, Wu?" Kang said finally. "I think we should respond to their message." "A formal response, sir?" "Oh, yes. Very formal. Very official." Kang's smile got bigger. "Get me a pen and paper. We're going to write the most polite thanks but no thanks letter in human history." Outside, the alien ships continued to hover over Earth's cities. They were waiting for fear that wasn't coming, for panic that had been replaced by memes, and for surrender from a species that seemed more interested in making jokes than making war. The 72-hour countdown had begun, but neither the aliens Nor the humans knew that this wouldn't be a normal conquest.